Hello, I'm Annabel Ruffell with Journey for Earth, and I'm here today with Karen Salmansohn, best-selling author of several self-help books for people, as she says, who wouldn't be caught dead reading self-help books. She combines empowering tips with humor and some really cool graphics. People like Madonna, Marissa Tomei, and Ariana Huffington love her books. Hi, Karen. Thank you for joining me. So I know that at age 26, you left your job as Senior Vice President and Creative Director to pursue your passion of writing. What inspired you to take action and just do it? Because that's a pretty big move to make at quite a young age.
Well, I actually kept threatening to quit, but I would tell my parents that I was going to quit, and they kept talking me out of it. So ultimately, I quit and didn't tell my parents for a couple weeks, so they couldn't talk me out of it, because I wanted to be a writer. I wanted to be a novelist. And me telling my parents, Mom, Dad, I want to be a novelist, was like the equivalent of saying, Mom, Dad, I want to be Hare Krishna. They thought like I was just like off on some kind of woo-woo kind of a thing here. But I had a real passion inside me to be a writer. And I'd done well in advertising, and I was a senior VP, so my parents kept saying, you're doing so well, how could you leave? But to me, that was how I could leave. I figured whatever I'm doing right in something that I'm not passionate about, if I applied a lot of the same principles to something that I really wanted to do, then I would see success there as well.
Yes. And what has been your biggest challenge over the years, and how did you overcome it?
Wow, only one? I have like 27 different challenges.
You can talk more. Feel free.
Let me see. My biggest challenge over the years, well, actually, to keep staying fresh, I like to switch it up, and I like to even change the look of my books. I art direct my books as well as write them, and I like to always be reinventing whatever I'm doing. I don't like the idea of doing the same thing over and over and over again, so I like to keep stretching. And I often write about something that I want to get better in, and like the Bounce Back book was a book that I wrote because I was bouncing back from a challenging time, and I wanted to learn everything I could about resiliency psychology. So I researched it for both the book's sake and my own sake. And when you write something and you're sharing tips on how to heal, it helps oneself to heal. And that was during a time that I needed to do some healing.
That leads nicely actually into my next question, because I was going to ask you a question about your Bounce Back book, because you offer empowering tips on how to thrive in the face of adversity, setback, and losses. Could you share 3 with us right now? 3 tips?
Well, sure. One of the things I say that is if you ask depressing questions, you'll get depressing answers. For example, why didn't I? What if? Why me? There's absolutely no way you're going to get a happy answer to any of those questions. So you have to stop them and swap them for happier geared questions that will lift you up, like, what can I learn from this? Who am I getting to meet new from this? How is this a lucky thing in disguise? And then you'll get a happier answer. So that's one of my tips. Another one is to shrink negativity into nuggetivity, where you only are allowed to think negative thoughts for 3 minutes at a time, 3 times a day. And then the last one is to walk yourself out of a bad mood. That a lot of studies show that even taking a 10-minute walk can change your endorphin state, your mental state, and it works as good as a lot of medications. There's been some studies that, when people were given assignments to walk more often, that they immediately felt happier.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done that myself, and it really does
Right?
make a difference, yeah. So I know you also create posters with some really great messages and images, and I read 2 of them recently, which I really liked. The first one, complaining is draining, which kind of touches on what you just said. Commit to talking 20% about the problem and 80% about the solution. And one more, which I just thought was just hit the nail on the head as well. We live in a world of a million interpretations. You must resist staying stuck on just one. So, I mean, they're just, such perfect messages, because we all deal with those kind of things. Where does your inspiration for these come from?
From stuff that's going on in my life. And sometimes I catch myself. I mean, it can be very tempting to want to sit around and complain. And I'm very self-deprecatory about myself. And I've even joked, if I didn't complain, what would I have to talk about? But the answer is plenty. A million interpretations. Actually, that's from my book, How to Be Happy, Damn It. But I hadn't thought about it in a while. And I was doing some business with somebody, and I had sent them an email, and I hadn't heard back from them. And I found myself thinking, is this like... should I be taking this as a sign that they don't want to be in the Karen Salmansohn business, or whatever? So, and then I thought to myself, wait a minute, and How to Be Happy, damn it. I was like, we live in a world of a million one interpretations. We shouldn't just stay stuck on that. Maybe they're on vacation. Maybe it's in their spam folder, So while I was waiting for them to return my email, I did that poster. And then sure enough, they returned the email, I'm happy to say.
That's so funny the way that works. I mean, I've been guilty of that many times. Oh my God, they don't like me, or, and then suddenly they respond. That's very true. So I know that you also offer monthly extreme success seminars. What do you feel it takes to be successful in a nutshell?
Resiliency. Because you are going to face a lot of obstacles in your way. I mean, Henry Ford says that obstacles are just those frightful things we see when we take our eyes off the goal. And keep reinventing yourself, is a big part of it. And then keep thinking about why what you do matters to you. That can sometimes energize you, instead of focusing on the obstacles in your way. Get yourself recycled to that honeymoon passion that you had for the project.
And how, because we all have crazy, hectic lives, we're already busy, how do you maintain your center in the middle of chaos?
I think there's a bottle of Red Bull around here. I actually cleaned up, don't have one here. But I love what I do, so that helps. For me, weirdly enough, some of my work almost doubles up as meditative for me. I love writing. I love doing posters. It kind of puts me in the zone, flow, I guess it's called in the psychological world. I'm in flow when I'm doing a poster or book.
What is your greatest hope for our planet at this time?
Oh, I'm really, really excited to help children. And, some of this stuff, it sounds a little hokey, but it's so true. They're our future. And now that I'm a newbie mommy, I'm highly aware of wanting to create a great planet for my child, and want to start to write and do more projects, books, everything for kids.
Who or what inspires you the most?
Aristotle. As anybody who's read my stuff knows, I'm a big fan of Aristotle. And one of the reasons why is that he's written a lot about happiness. I've joked that he's like one of our world's first self-help book authors because he's written a lot about what makes for a happy life. And he says a lot of reasons why people are unhappy is that they confuse pleasure for happiness. And the big difference is pleasure is about immediate gratification. And it's about the ego and the body. It's about stimulating the ego and the body. And true happiness is about stimulating your core self, your soul. And it's about surrounding yourself with people, experiences, habits that challenge you and inspire you to grow into your highest potential.
Well, thank you so much, Karen, for joining me here today. And for those of you who'd like to know more about Karen and her amazing, inspiring work, please go to notsalmon.com.